Hello sunshine, this is Joy from Michigan in the United States, and hopefully the lighting is okay on the screen. We have a gloomy, rainy day here in Michigan right now, so the lighting in my art room is not as good as it usually is. I'm going to do something very different today. I want to do an embellishment on an existing pour. So this was a dip that I did quite a while ago. I didn't write down the date, so I don't remember exactly, but probably over a month now, which is about how long I try to wait before I add anything to a pour, whether that's a varnish or an embellishment like I'm going to do today, or anything like that. I try to wait a month, which is probably overkill, but I hate to ruin a painting because I needed to wait just a little bit longer. So I have not ever had an issue a month later. So I feel like that's a safe timeline for me. And I'm going to do, I bought these paint markers, which I cannot seem to get the plastic off of, so I apologize. I got these on Amazon. They are made by Flymax. I've heard a lot of people talk about Posca pens, P-O-S-C-A, and I'd like to try those, but I couldn't find them. So these are water-based paint markers, and they're a fine tip. So we'll see. Oh, there we go. I got the plastic off. It came as a set of 6, and it's all white because that's what I wanted. So I'm going to shake this up. And then, I don't know that I'll get through this whole embellishment today, but we'll at least get part of it. You may see some lines on there. I don't know if you guys can see those on the screen or not. There's some, I tried to do this with a gel pen, a silver gel pen, and it just didn't work enough. You couldn't see it. So I'm just going to press this pen point down until that ink flows into it. There we go. Okay, so when I dipped this, it ended up drying fairly dark, but I felt like you could see floral lines. So I'm just going to attempt to follow the lines that I already drew. Okay, drawing on a canvas can be a little bit challenging because it's not a smooth surface, but I will do my best. So this will be the base of my flower, the little bud-like area. I'm sure there's an official name for the base of the flower that I'm just not aware of. It says it dries quick. I wonder how long quick is. It just says quick dry. So I don't know, the stuff on the back of the box was not dry, so that gives me some indication. So I'm going to try really hard to not get my hand in the lines I've already drawn. So this is just a fun way to add a little something to a pour that you feel like it's good, but it needs a little something. And these come in a variety of colors. I just got the white to start with because I wasn't sure what I would do. Ooh, that hit a bump and it splattered. All right, so we have to be careful of that. So I'm just going to go in and on this petal add some lines just to kind of indicate, I don't know, that there's something going on here. And some people may find that they just don't like this style. That's fine. It's not for everyone. I do feel like I'm hitting a lot of bumps and little crevices, and that's kind of creating a little bit of an issue for me as my pen's getting hung up on those. So let's add the next petal. And I am trying to somewhat follow the lines that were already in this pour. So I'm accentuating what was already there rather than completely adding something new. Although you could do something new too. That would be pretty. All right. I'm finding that the lighter my touch, the less I'm getting hung up on all the little bumps and crevices. When I do hit a bump, you just lift your pen just a little bit, ever so lightly. You won't lose your line, and you won't splatter. So it's kind of a twofer. When I first got these pens, I was a little bit surprised by how short they were. I mean, that's a pretty short pen. Or at least I feel like it is. So I'm pleased that as I'm working with it, I'm not really having any difficulty working with it. And I did come into this one and I added all sorts of lines, and I think they'll show up just enough to be a distraction if I don't go over them again. So I'm going to go ahead and go over these again, and this particular petal will have more texture to it than the others. Yeah, I'm really not liking the way it catches on any little bumps. If you have a tip out there, if you've done this sort of thing and you're like, oh yes, I ran into that problem, here's what I did, leave it in the comments, let me know. They write really, really well over this pour. I'm not having any difficulty getting the color to stay or to adhere to the canvas. I feel like that's not an issue, but you can see my little splatters because there's unevenness in the paint, which you can work around, but it'd be nice if the pen just didn't have that issue. But because there do seem to be a lot of little crevices. I can't feel it when I run my hand over it, but the pen definitely is catching on something. So, all right, let's add this little petal back here. It does help that I had it drawn out in gel pen prior, so it makes this process a little quicker, but I don't think I would necessarily always do it that way. So I have a tendency when I draw to rest my hand on the surface, and that's really not a good thing. I need to learn not to do that. I'm trying to give the edge of that petal just a little bit of a definition, ruffly kind of look to it. All right, this one I think I'm gonna switch and make it from there. So there will be some gel pen lines on here that are different than what I did with my paint pen, but I'm not too worried about it. I didn't love this canvas. So if adding these paint lines, which is why this was the perfect one to practice on. So if it didn't do what I wanted to, I'm not too terribly upset because I didn't love it to begin with. I'm gonna add a little center here. And I actually want to fill that in. I want that to be, I was hoping that when I used the silver gel pen, it would add a little glitter, kind of a glittery look, but I don't know what kind of flower would have a middle like this, but there you go. This one, this kind of flower has this kind of middle. White, we might have to go over that one more time. So it's a fairly quick way, I feel, to really add something special. I would love to do maybe a fairy silhouette, which I don't know how that would look in a white pen. I might need to get a black one and try that. Or there's so many silhouette paintings. If you look on Pinterest or look on YouTube, there's all sorts of things you can find. I always love trees. We do a tree silhouette. Just trying to add some definition to this leaf. So yeah, as long as your surface is fairly smooth, this pen works quite well. And I feel like it stands out very nicely. I don't have to worry about did it get lost in the painting. I feel like you can see that quite well. Add another leaf right here. And again, kind of following the lines that I'm seeing in the colors. Not exactly, but a little. I apologize, my allergies are pretty rough lately. I am trying to go down the edge just a little bit so that if somebody wants to hang this, if I should gift this or sell it, it could be hung as is without a frame. I always think they look better with a frame, but if they wanted to hang it without, which I have a lot of canvases in my house with no frame, then they could. They wouldn't have to worry about it. I just knocked my cap on the floor. That's okay, I'll get it later. So I hope you guys are all doing well. This whole series of videos all started because of quarantine, and I was struggling to find purpose and a routine. I don't usually think of myself as someone who wants routine. I kind of like to fly by the seat of my pants, but you know, not having anything on the calendar, nowhere to be and no one to go see, and it just got to me. So this is my quarantine art journey. I made the goal, excuse me, I made the goal of making one painting a day, or working on one painting a day, and so far that's gone fairly well. So this is my art therapy. This is my quarantine art, I guess. Oh, I didn't really need to make that line quite that thick. That's okay. Just gonna add some little detail lines in each of these petals. Again, following what I already see there, because I think it's really pretty. It just needed a little bit of an accent. So I may go back over just the outer edges of the flower and just make that line a little thicker, because I feel like we're losing the shape of the flower with the detail in the petals. So I can just come through here, follow those same lines that I already did, and thicken this up just a touch. Oh, that one's gonna be a lot because it did a little splatter thing, but that's okay. Again, no stress. This is just my art therapy. It should be relaxing. It's about the journey. Oh, and see, that wasn't dry yet, so when I touched that, it did take some of that off. So let me let this dry a little more before I go back in and add any more details. Or, I'm sorry, add more thickness to those petals. There we go. It's helpful to have something nearby to push this pen onto if the ink stops flowing so nicely. I'm finding that to be important, so keep that in mind, whether it's a paper towel or napkin or a box or whatever. I don't think it matters what you use. So what do you guys think? Is this something that you would consider trying, or is this just too tedious, or it changes the look too much, or I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you've already subscribed, I just want to say thank you again. When I started this, I really had zero expectations. It was something I was doing to get me through a rough patch. I didn't really expect it to go anywhere. And maybe that's some self-doubt, or maybe, I don't know, who knows. But I've been so touched that there have been people who have found my art to be inspiring, and people that enjoy watching my videos. or that watch my video at least to get an idea for their own art journey, that's wonderful. That means a lot to me. So thank you if you've already subscribed. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like I said, I've just been surprised to see the interest. So if you haven't already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you would just take a minute and hit that subscription button. And then if you hit the notification bell, you will also receive notifications anytime I post a video, which right now my goal for quarantine, that I hope will continue beyond quarantine, is 1 painting a day. So I'm posting fairly frequently. So yeah, I would appreciate that. I'm so grateful for the art community that's out there. I'm on several Facebook pages, and I follow Jilly Cube, and it's just an inspiring, positive, uplifting group. And that's, that's all I have time for right now. I don't have time for negative. I don't have time for haters. Not that I've had any so far, but it always seems like you put yourself out there and somebody's not going to like it. And that's okay. I don't expect everyone to like my style. I just ask that if you don't like my style, just move on. No need to comment. I know Julie has talked about that in several of her videos, and I just agree with her wholeheartedly. There's no room on my YouTube channel for negative or attacks. I just don't have time for that. I don't have energy for that. It's an energy sucker. So I am going to keep working on this, and then I will try to add, hopefully, pictures when I'm all done. I don't expect this to be a quick process for me, as I kind of have an idea in my head of what I want it to look like. So I'm just going to keep fiddling with it, and it's very relaxing because there's no expectation from me. There's no, what's the word I want? It's just the fun of it. I don't need to worry about what it looks like at the end. It's, did I enjoy putting the lines on the canvas? So keep that in mind as you create your own art. It doesn't have to be, I don't know, museum worthy. It's more, for me, art is more about my journey. Learning about myself, expressing myself, and finding something positive to do in my day. There's been a lot of things taken from me, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just the reality of quarantine life. I had these things that were very positive for me, but they are not there anymore. And so art has always been a very positive thing for me since I was a teenager, probably younger than that, but I've always enjoyed art. So this is a way for me to put a little positive back into my day, and I hope it does the same for you. I hope if you're watching this that it's an uplifting, encouraging, positive part of your day, because I think we're all at a point where we need to work to make sure that's what we have. If it doesn't encourage you, it doesn't lift you up, it's probably not the right fit for you. So I'm really liking the thicker lines on the outside of the petals. I spun that a little too quick. So I think I'm just going to continue with that. And I think you guys get the basic idea though, so I'm not going to make you watch me do this for the next, I imagine this will take, a couple hours or so. And I'll probably have to break it up into some different sessions. But I won't show you the whole process because it'll be boring, but I will add pictures of the finished piece at the end. So watch for that. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't already, just hit that little button. It costs you nothing. I don't ever ask for anything from my viewers, but a little bit of feedback. So let me finish this little petal here, and I will let you guys go. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. All right, friends, I am back with you. Just gonna give you a heads up. I don't usually let my cats out in my art room, but they love being out here and looking out the windows, so they're out here with me today, so you may hear some cat noises in the background. So I decided I would kind of show you guys where I am. I think I'm just about done. I'm going to add a bird right here, a hummingbird. I'm going to try. We'll see how well that goes, but I thought I would do that part on camera for you so you could see how it's progressed. I've been using the back of this to get my paint pen started. Oh, goodness. Lots of paint there. It doesn't dry as fast as I'd like, and I don't really want that on my table. So I have found that this pen sometimes runs with more ink than other times. So just, be conscious of that, be aware of that if you try this method. You kind of have to watch the flow. So, can you guys see this okay? Hopefully my hand doesn't block it the whole time. I did use my computer to pull up some images of a hummingbird, just so I have a basic idea. I kind of like this as the wing. There's kind of a wing shape there already. So that's where I'm going to start. It's not exactly what I want, so I won't follow that line exactly. But we're just going to go for it. And I probably won't add all the details that I might in another style of drawing. So, and I've been able to do just a real light sketch, especially with my tulip down here. I was able to kind of lightly sketch that in and then add the remainder of it, thicken up the lines. So you can sketch with this, you just have to be careful. So I need to bring the wing down a bit. And then here's our little neck. Oh, these little divots in the canvas get a little bit obnoxious. All right, and we're gonna do the beak here. Nice, long, narrow beak on a hummingbird. His wing is maybe a little bit too big. I'm not sure, guys. He'll be a big winged bird, I guess. They have these sweet, tiny little bodies. I'll make that head just a little bit bigger. So, I just thought this needed a bird. I love birds, so I'm already biased, but I feel like his wing needs just a little bit more of a tip to it. So I'm going to attempt to give it more like that. Now, I didn't do a ton of detail on most of this, so I want this to match everything else. So I'm going to do some patterning on it, but that's about it. I'm not going to make this a full drawing of a bird. We're just going to sketch in some lines for feathers. Easy peasy, no stress. That's always my rule in my art room, no stress, nothing to worry about, just enjoy the process. And this one was a lot of fun because I was able to just look at the canvas and use my imagination and then fill in the lines so that somebody else could see the same thing I saw. So that was really kind of fun. All right, hopefully this looks like a hummingbird to other people. I am going to add an eye right here because I think if I don't, people are going to go, what is this thing on your canvas? I'm just trying to make that beak a little bit broader at the base. They do have very long, narrow beaks, but I say she and then I say he, so whichever it is. Can you guys, am I good? I'm not paying attention to my angle with my camera, which is kind of at a new angle. I'm trying something different today to see if I can get a better angle for you guys. So I apologize, this is going to be kind of sideways for you guys on the setup that I'm using. So I know when I have my canvas like this, it's sideways for you all, so I apologize, but I think that's better than what I had. So we're just going to add some little curved lines. And I am adding more texture to this than I have to anything else, but I'm okay with that. As long as it still looks like it belongs with everything else, which sometimes I struggle because I worked on this yesterday afternoon and then last night and then this morning. So it's, you know, it's always going to take a little more time to embellish than it would take to make the actual dip that I did originally. So sometimes I struggle with making sure that it flows with everything else because from one day to the next my style is not necessarily the same. I might have a heavier hand, that kind of thing. So you just do your best. All right, I am going to add just a little bit more of a tail, even though that's probably not accurate. I like it. So a lot of the things in this drawing are not intended to be super accurate. So I hope you enjoyed this one. It's very different from my previous ones, but I have enjoyed this process, so I hope it was enjoyable for you as well. And I will take you guys in for a close-up. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, back for the close-up. I think this one is done. I may go darken some of those lines, actually lighten, I guess, because they're white. And I will definitely varnish or resin this. It'll really make those colors pop. So just gonna take you down for a little bit of a close-up. There's that main flower, and that leaf behind it has so many colors in it. I kind of love that. And then my little hummingbird. And then this flower here that the hummingbird is getting some nectar from, that might be my favorite. I really like that one, all the colors in it. And the one under the hummingbird I really like too. I'm happy with this one. I did try to add, well, I had a little caterpillar looking thing, so I went ahead and just added a little caterpillar going from that leaf to that flower there. And then I did add a water droplet. And I'm not sure that that actually looks like a water droplet. There's a very different technique I would normally use. But that's the way it worked for this style. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Thanks so much, guys, and see you on the next one.